Hey there guys, and thanks for viewing this video. So today in this video I'm going to be showing you how to turn your standard PlayStation 5 controller into a very slight, and when I say slight I mean slight, scuff controller, okay? Because technically on the market at the moment I am aware that I believe that there are no actual scuff controllers that you can buy. For the PlayStation 5. I'm not sure on that, don't quote me on that, but I've searched myself, I couldn't find any. So this is the next best thing basically, due to the fact that there are no PS5 scuff controllers on the market at the moment for you to buy. Here's how to make your own one. So basically what you want to do is you actually want to do it on the console, the PlayStation 5 console itself. You can also do this on the PlayStation 4 console. So basically what you want to do is you want to go to settings. You want to go to settings, then you want to go up to accessibility, and then you want to scroll down to controllers, and then you want to go to custom button assignments. Now any console or any PlayStation console that has a custom button assignments option on the settings will basically allow you to turn your controller into a slight scuff controller. So click on that, and then you want to go down to button assignments, button controller assignments. Right, okay. So first thing that I'm going to switch around, as you can see, you've got all these, you can see you've got all of the buttons laid out, like completely as normal, as standard, yeah? So basically I'm going to start with the top two. I'm going to flip the bumpers. I'm going to flip the trigger and the bumpers at the top. So as you can see, it says L2. You just click on that, you push X on that, and you go down. And I'm changing that to L1. So I'm basically flipping them around, and I'm going to do the same on the other side. I want it to be R2. My bad. R1 and R2. Yes. So basically, as you can see, I've switched them around. Yeah. I've now mapped the controller so that the triggers and the bumpers are now completely flipped around. The reason I've done that, and I'm basing this on purely first-person shooter games, or even third-person shooter games. That they're mainly they're the main games that I play. And I know that if you use a scuff controller in some first-person shooter games, it can give you quite a huge advantage. So I'm basing this on first-person shooters basically. So the reason that I flipped the top the top triggers and the bumpers around is because, especially on the PS5 controller, the PS4 wasn't as bad, but I still did it on my PlayStation 4 one as well. I never bothered to buy it. I never actually bought a PS4 scuff controller. I just did this instead. But on the PS5 especially, is I feel like the back triggers, I feel like they're a little bit too deep. And with the shooting games, it's a little bit of a slow response time in order for you to fully aim in and shoot. So if you flip them around, as you can see, it's much quicker than, it's much quicker to like aim and shoot that way. So basically, if you think about it, on an actual scuff controller, usually you'll have trigger stops with it. Usually you'll get trigger stops with the actual controller. So basically, that's like using trigger stops. It's just as quick as using trigger stops, basically. Exactly the same thing. Can take you a little while to get used to. I know you can flip these options. I know you can flip all these options and stuff like on Call of Duty games. You can flip them now on the current Call of Duty games, the recent ones. But this is basically so you can lay it out for every game, and every shooting game that you play, you'll be able to have, it will feel like you've got your own scuff controller. So this is just the first thing that I do. So that's basically the trigger stop trick, and then I don't touch anything else apart from I go down to X, and I change X to R3, which is basically your right analog. stick. Now basically what I've done is I've flipped them both round so that R3 is now using X and X is now R3. So basically I now need to use my X button to punch or knife, whatever the melee is, instead of clicking an R3, and my R3 button is now my jump button. Now basically if you think about it, I can't really use both hands because I've got my hand on my phone here doing a recording. If you think about it, if you had both thumbs, both hands on the control, you wouldn't need to take your right thumb off your right analog stick to click on X to jump, if that makes sense. So it's a lot better. It's almost like having that extra button on the back of a Scuff controller. You get that, the right hand button is usually the jump button. It's like having that at your fingertip. Basically you just click on it and you jump, and you turn around corners, and it's almost like you jump around corners. It's almost like you're actually jumping with a Scuff controller, and I'm not joking you. And it takes a couple of weeks to get used to, but I've been using this now for like the past 2 years on. Yeah, so to me it's just completely normal. If I went back to normal I would struggle. But basically guys, it's a really good way of, especially since you can't actually get a PlayStation 5 Scuff controller, not that I'm aware of anyway. If you can, please drop a comment in the comment box below, because I'd love to hear it if you can get them. But this is the next best thing. I know what you're thinking. You're probably thinking, what about prone? What about drop shot? What about the left bumper? Well, unfortunately you don't have a left bumper. Because obviously you use L3 usually on most shooting games that I found. You use the L3 analog stick to click in and use that for sprint. So unfortunately you can't change that, but by all means test it out and map how you want it to be. Maybe you can figure out your own way of making a drop shot button, but I couldn't figure that out. But by all means try and figure that out. Anyways guys, thanks for viewing this video. Please leave a like, comment and subscribe. Thanks for viewing. Cheers guys.